Good morning, everyone. Hopefully your day not too bad so far. As always, thanks for sticking around with us here at CBS 19. I'm meteorologist Chandler Jordan out of our CBS 19 Weather Center. We're going to continue to keep you posted as our line of thunderstorms continues to march through. As a refresher, we do have some counties that are under a tornado watch, and this is until 1 p.m., and that includes all the counties that you can see in pink. And that also includes places such as Tyler, Longview into Gilmer along the I-30 corridor, as well as into Henderson through places such as Cass County into Linden, Jefferson, Marshall through Carthage Center, as well as San Augustine and Hemp Hill. So again, tornado watch is in effect for these counties until 1 p.m. And here's a live look at CBS 19 radar for this line of thunderstorms as it's going to continue to march off to the north and east. It's got some pace to it, moving at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. Within different portions of this line, we do have some portions that are going to be a little bit stronger than others as this line is trying its best to organize and get a little bit stronger. This area, severe thunderstorm warning is in place until 7:45 this morning, and you can notice we've got some very heavy rain moving through places such as Mount Pleasant. Those of you in Pittsburgh, you're going to get some heavy rain in your area here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, as well as Brumley. And the reason why you see these very faint black lines through this severe thunderstorm warning polygon is that this has a tornado possible tag, which just means that there isn't a tornado on the ground by any means with this storm as we speak, but we do have some indications of rotation in our atmosphere, which means that if we were to see rotation tighten, we could see a tornado warning issued within this polygon. So just something we keep a close eye out for. But again, no tornado warning is in place as we speak right now. This continues to, again, move off to the north and east at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. Those of you in Mount Pleasant now getting some very heavy rain, probably some very gusty winds as well. Those of you in Naples, you'll see these sets of showers and thunderstorms arrive closer to 7:35, DeKalb closer to 7:37, towards Boston by 7:53, Hooks by 8:02, and then Ashdown by 8:10. So again, this severe thunderstorm warning set to expire at 7:45. We'll keep a close eye out on it for it, especially since it does have the tag of a tornado possible. A little farther down the line, we do have some clusters of showers and thunderstorms, now some heavy rain. Those of you in Big Sandy, you're going to get some heavy rain in your area over the next couple of minutes. Towards Gilmer over the next 10 to 15 minutes. And again, this portion of the line also moving northeast at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. As it continues to move farther to the north and east, it'll arrive into Gladewater by 7:33, White Oak by 7:40, into Longview by 7:52, Harrelton by 7:58, as well as Linden closer to 8:05. So we'll take a look at future skycasts over the next few hours as this line continues to pass through. And really, as it does, it's going to slowly strengthen the farther and farther east that it gets. Remember, the best environment for strong thunderstorms today, luckily for us, well to our east into Louisiana as well as Mississippi. As we get closer to the 8:45 and 9 o'clock hour, we're going to start to see the heaviest of rain make its way into places such as Henderson. We'll start to see a little better organization through deep east Texas into Nacogdoches as well as Lufkin. Not under a tornado watch, but of course, if things looked like there could be the possibility of a tornado to be produced, we would see a tornado watch box possibly added. Something, of course, we'll keep you posted on. Still got to stay weather aware for very heavy rain, gusty winds, as well as frequent lightning. This is going to continue to move off to the north and east here over the next hour. We actually are going to take you to a live picture of a car that we've got driving through Tyler right now. You can notice that clouds across the screen are very dark. It's on Highway 69 this morning. Very heavy rain starting to make its way through Tyler as well. Very ominous looking clouds as well. This is again on Highway 69. We've got a live shot that's continuing to move off to the north and east. And coming up here in a couple of minutes, we do have another live cut-in on CBS. Of course, we're going to continue to stay with you on our social and streaming platforms. But for those of you who would be able to also watch on television, we do have coming up around 7:25 this morning, we've got another cut-in that we'll be able to show you. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep either our live shot of the driving car or a loop of radar on. And of course, we'll be back once the cut-in is over on CBS, back onto our digital and streaming platforms, and we'll be with you throughout this morning with continuous coverage as this line of showers and thunderstorms continues to pass through the region. morning, everyone. From the CBS 19 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chandler Jordan out of our CBS 19 Weather Center. We do have, remember, a tornado watch that's in place for the counties that you can see on your screen in pink, and this is until 1 p.m. this afternoon, and that includes places such as Tyler, as well as Gilmer, Longview, Henderson, Carthage, into Jefferson, Marshall, through I-30 into Mount Pleasant, as well as Center, San Augustine, and Hemp Hill. So again, this tornado watch is until 1 p.m., and the reason why is that we're continuing to keep a very close eye out on this line of showers and thunderstorms as they continue to march from west to east across the region. We'll go ahead and zoom on in on the severe thunderstorm warning that we now have in place towards the I-30 corridor. These sets of tornado warnings, if you look very closely, they've got lines of black going through the polygons, and the reason why is that the National Weather Service, when they issued these, put a tornado possible tag on them, which means that there isn't an actual tornado on the ground. It just means that we do have broad enough rotation that if it were to tighten, we could see a tornado form. So that's why we just got to keep a very close eye out on these. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony has joined me in the Weather Center, and he's helping me out with radar this morning. This line and clusters of showers and thunderstorms, again, can continue to move off to the north and east. As it moves through, you can expect some very heavy rain. You'll hear some rumbles of thunder. You'll have some gusty winds and maybe even some pocket change sized hail, such as dime, penny, or even nickel sized. And as this continues to move from west to east off to the northeast, about 55 to 60 miles per hour. It'll make its way into Gladewater closer to 7:39 this morning, Dangerfield by around 7:49, Lone Star by 7:54, into Hughes Springs at 8:02, Avenger by 8:15, and into Harrelton again by around 8:24 this morning. So if you have anywhere to be today, if you have to head out maybe to run some errands or head out to the office for work, please just take it easy. Give yourself plenty of time to get to where you need to be, because even if you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning as we speak, still roads are going to be very wet and rain's going to be very heavy, and it's going to cause some issues as far as travel is concerned. A little farther down the line, we're going to continue to keep a close eye out on this line of showers and thunderstorms towards Tyler, now making their way into Jacksonville. These are going to continue to move off to the north and east, and as you can see, we've got a live image from Highway 69 of a live car that's driving on the roadways. Some very heavy rain, or excuse me, on the loop, I should say, very heavy rain for your commute this morning. So please just take it easy out there. Be careful as you're driving. You can see on the roadways, there's already towards the edge of the road near the median, some little slight areas of ponding, as we've already seen some heavy rain pass through. And with this heavy rain, you're definitely going to have some gusty winds as well to worry about. So we'll take one last look at the 7-day forecast, because by this afternoon, we're going to clear on out. We'll just have a few passing clouds, and all in all, it's going to be pretty comfy. Our high temperature today this afternoon does top out in the mid-70s, and then the rest of the week and into the weekend looking very fantastic. Remember, we're going to have continuous coverage on our streaming platforms, on our app, as well as our website, YouTube, you name it. So make sure to join us there for more coverage of the storms today. All right, so we just finished up a cut-in on CBS this morning. Thank you again for joining us for this continuous coverage of these thunderstorms as they continue to pass through the region. This is the latest look at CBS 19 radar, and now we're going to a live picture of a car that we have driving in Tyler right now. Some very, very heavy rain is continuing to pass through the region as we speak. Again, if you have to be anywhere this morning, maybe headed out to work or wherever you got to go, just know that roadways are going to be treacherous. Even if you're not under any type of warning or anything like that, the rain is going to be difficult to deal with this morning. So again, just give yourself plenty of time to get to where you need to be to start off your day. Here's the latest look at CBS 19 radar on one of our computer devices that helps us portray that. And you can see that this line of showers and thunderstorms continuing to move off to the north and east, and they'll again continue with this as we keep going over to the north and east here for the next little while. Those of you, we got 2 warnings in place now, and a broad look at a picture, some tornado warnings to the north. Luckily, though, those are well to our north, but we do have a tornado watch in place until 1 p.m. If we'd be able to switch over to Max 1, you'll see that counties in pink are under the tornado watch until 1 p.m., and that includes places such as Tyler and Longview, as well as Gilmer. Really, all of these counties that you see in pink could have the possibility of a brief tornado form through the rest of this morning and into about lunchtime. That's where we've got to stay weather aware and keep a close eye out on things. Notice, though, we did have some counties to our west that were in the watch earlier this morning if you were watching us on the morning loop. But they have since been dropped from the watch, and the reason why is that once this strong line of showers and thunderstorms gets to your east and you start to dry out, maybe just a few light showers hanging around for a couple of hours, that's where you're going to be able to be out of the all clear, at least for the possibility of a tornado or anything such as that. So again, these counties are under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. and that includes places such as Tyler into Gilmer, into Longview, as well as in Henderson, Carthage through Center, San Augustine, as well as Hemp Hill through Mount Pleasant as well. All of these areas just got to stay weather aware for the next little while. So here's the latest look at CBS 19 radar across the region. We've got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect as we speak right now. They do have the very light lines through them as well, and these black lines mean that we do have a tornado possible tag on them. That does not mean there's a tornado warning in place right now. There isn't one, but we do have rotation indications within the storm that if it were to tighten up any, it would become a tornado warned storm. So again, something we'll keep a very close eye out for as we head out and start off our day. But again, these are going to continue to move off to the north and east. You'll notice that the warning to the north towards Mount Pleasant and I-30 this morning, this is in place until 7:45. And then this warning farther to the south, closer to Gilmer including Gilmer, I should say, and closer to Longview, this warning is in place until about 8:15. So both of these warnings moving off to the north and east at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. So if you're in these areas or in the path of these areas, pretty much close to I-20 or close to I-30, please just make sure you give yourself plenty of time if you have to be anywhere to start off your day today to make sure you can get to where you need to be safely. I'm joined by Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. He's helping me out with radar this morning, and you'll notice that the reason why we've got these tags for tornado being possible is that we've got some areas of very broad rotation really throughout this whole line. It's just scattered with very broad areas of rotation, and what we're going to watch out for if we were to see a tornado warning be issued is for these broad areas of rotation to continue to maybe tighten up, and if they get close enough or tight enough, then that's where we could possibly see a tornado warning. So again, these are going to continue to move off to the north and east, and what we look for if we were to see a tornado warning be issued, we would watch out for these reds and greens being not only touching and very close to each other, but if we can get like a tight couplet or a ball-like structure to form, that's where we would know that we've got a tight enough structure to where we might need to actually issue a tornado warning. If we'd be able to, we could put a storm track up on this as these 2 warnings continue here for the next little while. And again, these thunderstorms are moving off to the north and east. And as we get these to head downstream towards places such as Texarkana, Cass County into Linden, as well as Jefferson and Marshall, these are just a few of the areas that you should be prepared here in the next little while for at least this line of thunderstorms to make its way into your region. So here's the latest storm track as we continue to see this line of thunderstorms move off to the north and east. Those of you in Dangerfield likely about to get some very heavy rain, some gusty winds, maybe even some pocket change sized hail associated with this. Hugh Springs closer to 749, Ore City by 751, Boston closer to 805 this morning, and then from there it continues to move out of the warning polygon, but still those of you in Linden by 820 this morning, closer to Leary by 8:30 this morning. Even though you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, in the next hour to an hour and a half, at least a storm with the history of being warned is going to be headed your way. And from there, definitely got to be prepared for some gusty winds, some heavy rain, frequent lightning, as well as the possibility of some pocket change sized hail. And if this were to continue to strengthen, we could even see a tornado warning become issued from that. So this first warning we're putting a storm track on for. This one is in effect until 8:15 this morning. Again, moving off to the north and east at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. Very gusty winds and heavy rain associated with that. You'll notice that for Gilmer, this is going to be in place. Really, those of you in Gilmer are likely to get some heavy rain on your doorstep any moment now, as this is coming up on 7:37. Its time now is 7:36. So definitely just be prepared for some very heavy rain. Hopefully you're not outside. If you are, definitely want to come inside and get out of the elements, as you're going to have some very heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe even some very small pocket change sized hail associated with this, and I'm sure you can probably hear some rumbles of thunder as well. Closer to Union Grove as we get to 7:49 this morning, and from there to Lone Star by 7:58, Hugh Springs by 8:05, Avenger by 8:15, and from there it moves out of the severe thunderstorm warning polygon, but just a little farther down the line, if you know folks in places such as Lassiter and Linden, by around 8:25, 8:30, this storm with the history of producing very heavy rain, gusty winds, dangerous lightning, and pocket change sized hail, it's going to arrive into your area. So if you know any folks in those places I just mentioned, Lassiter, just give them a heads up. Hey, you know, here in the next hour, hour and a half, we're going to have some thunderstorms headed your way, so they can make sure they're at least able to get to a safe spot and away from any elements that they could possibly be exposed to. This warning to the north that we're putting a storm track on now, this one expires in about 8 minutes. There is a possibility we could see another warning issued downstream. Of course, we'll continue to keep a close eye out on that. Cookville, you're about to get some very heavy rain making its way into your area, and there is this little notch that we'll keep an eye out for. I just noticed that. We'll keep a close eye out on these little notches because typically in these portions of the line, that's where we could possibly see a little bit of tightening of rotation. And from there, the possibility of a tornado warning being issued. Remember, when we see these polygons through, or excuse me, these lines through the polygons, when you have a severe thunderstorm warning in place like that, that means tornado is possible. Not that there's a confirmed tornado as we speak, but this just means that if we were to see the tightening of rotation, there could be a warning issued with that here over the next little bit. So something we keep a close eye out for. Again, this is going to continue to move off to the north and east by 7:51, making its way into Dangerfield by 7:54 into Naples, by 8:06 into Marietta, by 8:16 into Boston, 8:26 into Douglasville, and from there 8:31 into Hooks. So we're just going to have to keep a close eye out on these. They have not produced any tornado warnings in our viewing area just yet. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that stays the same all throughout this morning, because we do have a tornado watch in a good portion of East Texas until 1 p.m. this afternoon. So this line of thunderstorms, again, is going to continue to slowly strengthen as it moves farther to the north and east. It does have the history of producing tornado warnings to our north, but not so much in our viewing area, which of course is some good news. But you'll notice a little farther down along the line as well, we've got some heavier rain that's going to continue to move through Smith County as well as towards Bullard. Those of you in Bullard, Jacksonville, as well as Tyler, likely getting some heavy rain in your area as we speak. Right now, you can even see our camera that's driving through Tyler right now, giving us some very heavy rain, and a good look at what you can expect as you head out the door, maybe into the office this morning. Honestly, if you had the capability to work from home, might not be a bad idea, at least for the start of the day, because it's going to be pretty dicey as far as road conditions are concerned from this heavy rain. But this area of showers towards Jacksonville, Tyler, seeing some lightning bolts barely popping up on CBS 19 radar at times, are going to continue to move off to the north and east. I don't know if you can hear it being picked up on my mic, but we've got some very heavy rain moving over our studios right now on Troop in the Loop. I am going to step off very briefly. Looking at our Tyler cam, you can see the heavy rain moving through, and I'm actually going to go on our computer and switch over from the Tyler camera to our studio camera. I'm sure it's going to be an entirely different sight right now. And yeah, you can see the very heavy rain making its way through as we speak. The rain droplets bashing against the camera, our camera shaking as well. And the reason why is we've got some very gusty winds associated with this, as well as some very, very heavy rain. So again, even though we aren't under a warning in Smith County right now, still road conditions could be pretty treacherous for you to start off your day. This is our photojournalist, Alan Casper, who's currently driving through Tyler. He's on the loop right now, looks like probably at a red light. And you can even, if you look closely at the roadways, you can see that we're already starting to see a little bit of ponding in certain spots from the very heavy rain that's going to continue to pass through. And the trees in the upper corners of the screen and the camera shot are shaking because of the gusty winds that are being associated with this. And you can even see the shaking occasionally of our CBS 19 studio camera. Looking very closely, I'm actually going to take control of the camera myself and kind of zoom on a little farther downwards, I should say, on a little closer to the roadways because I do want to show you what the roads could possibly look like as you get ready to head out the door this morning. You can see that we do have some ponding of the water in certain spots, and honestly, this turn, I'm sure many of you have driven through it. If you've been towards Troop in the Loop, maybe if you like to eat at that KFC, you'll know that this little turn that goes onto the loop is can be pretty treacherous as far as ponding water is concerned, and we can actually already see a little farther, more so in the median and the KFC parking lot, the ponding of the water, as well as cars continue to turn off to the right. We do have the history, I know, in this little corner right here by the intersection. Yeah, it'll cause some issues as far as flooding is concerned. So yeah, just got to drive carefully. This is again another look at our photojournalist, Alan Casper, who's driving around the loop right now in Tyler. And you can see, if you look closely at the roadways, just some very heavy rain to have to deal with. And when you pair this with gusty winds while you're driving, it's not really that fun. So, just be careful this morning and give yourself plenty of time to where you need to be. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony has joined me this morning, and he's helping me out with radar. And you can see that the heaviest of rain currently in Tyler near Highway 69. That appears to be Highway 249 as well as 271. These oranges, when you get these showing up on radar, paired with the reds, this means some very, very heavy rain. If you're driving a certain speed limit, you're not really going to be able to see much at all while you're driving. So again, we've got some reds. That appears to be County Road 2191, I believe, and this is just to the north and west of White House, just to the south and west of Alberta. That appears to be the heaviest of rain that we're seeing right now. If we could go a little farther to the north, we'll look throughout parts of Tyler where we could see some heavier rain making their way through. As far as that's concerned, remember again, oranges and reds, that means very heavy rain. These yellows and greens, still raining, but just not as heavy as it would be if you were in any of the oranges, as well as any of the reds. So again, these are going to continue to slowly pass through and move off to the east. Those of you in New Chapel Hill, be prepared to have some heavier rain make it into your area here soon, as well as places such as Browning, Arp, Owentown, likely to get some heavier rain, I think, here soon. And again, Troop as well, likely to get some heavy rain, of course. A little farther to the north and east, we've got a pair of severe thunderstorm warnings in place right now. One is currently just to the north and west of Mount Pleasant, where the heaviest of rain is now moving along I-30. And the reason why we've got these black lines that are moving through the polygon is, well, because that means a tornado possible. Again, no tornado associated with this as of right now. It just means that we've got to keep a close eye out on some broad areas of rotation. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony is circling those. We typically look for when we see these reds and greens start to butt up against each other, and especially if they become more of a tight ball, that's where we get what we call a couplet. And from there, we know that there is some possibly tightening rotation, and from there, the possibility of issuing a tornado warning. So again, this area is going to continue to, we'll keep a close eye out for it. It's moving off to the north and east at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. So I'd say those of you in New Hope, Dalby Springs along Highway 259 to the north and west of Naples along I-30, it's going to be a pretty treacherous commute if you have to use I-30 this morning. So I'd probably take the chance, if you can, to make sure that you're just inside. If you have to head out the door anytime soon, please just be careful, and rather safe than sorry. I'd give yourself extra time to get to where you need to be this morning, because even if it's just gusty winds and heavy rain, those can still cause a bit of a issue as far as your commute is concerned. So we're going back in time when we do that back and forth, just to kind of see if we can find a better area where we might see a little bit of tightening of the rotation. And it just appears that this couplet, again, very, very broad, and we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has now been issued, and this is until 8:30 this morning. They're keeping the tornado possible tag on it, which means that we've still got to keep a close eye out in this area of rotation that appears to be just to the north and east of Argo. And when we're getting a couple of lightning bolts around it, it could indicate that it's trying to strengthen. And looking at reflectivity as well, you can see that we do have a little bit of what appears to be a notch within this embedded line, which means that it could be trying its best to pull a little bit of air in to strengthen, and from there tighten up the rotation or the couplet that is currently broad and not a tornado warning. So again, this is not an actual tornado. This is not a tornado warning, just an area of rotation that the National Weather Service and myself and Chief Meteorologist Brad Anthony are going to keep on continuing to keep a close eye out for as it moves off to the north and east. We're getting word into our newsroom as well. Smith County, 800 power outages from this line as it moved through. So even though Smith County is not under a severe thunderstorm warning and hasn't been at all, this is still packing quite a punch. So we've just got to be careful because these gusty winds are going to be paired with very heavy rain, and that combination is not going to be good for our power or anything such as that. And this storm does have the history of also producing severe tornado warnings. You can see off to the north and east of us, north of Texarkana, now crossing over the Oklahoma state border and into Arkansas. We've got a triplet of what appears to be tornado warnings in effect, and these are continuing again well away from us, but this line does have the history of producing tornadoes. I believe something that I saw on Twitter a little bit earlier ago from Reed Timmer. He's a famous storm chaser. He looked like he drove through some damage in Arkansas. So yeah, we've got to still stay weather aware from this. And what was that, 2,500 power outages in East Texas. So all across the region, we've got 2,500 power outages from this line as it's moved through. I still think that could increase as we continue to see this line pass through the region. So yeah, we've got to stay vigilant as we head over the next several hours. The only warnings that we've had so far today, you're seeing on our screen right now, a little farther to the south and west. There aren't any as we speak, but still heavy rain, gusty winds packing a punch that could, of course, knock out power if you have to drive on the roadways. It could make things a little dicey as far as hydroplaning is concerned. So if you've got to leave out anytime soon, please just be careful as you start off your day. We're looking at a live picture from our photojournalist Alan Casper, who's on the loop right now, traveling what appears to be, I believe that's eastbound on the loop. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, eastbound on the loop right now. You can notice the car dealerships off to the right if you know what part of town this is on. But yeah, heavy rain is just continuing to pass through. You can see on the roadways where it's a little slicker, especially towards the median. It's going to be pretty dicey as far as the morning commute is concerned. I'd say, yeah, give yourself plenty of time like Alan is doing to slow down properly, as well as driving carefully, because not only do we have heavy rains, but we've got gusty winds as well. So those can kind of shake you around in your lane. And we all know that the loop is just busy at this time of morning. You can even see from our Troop in the Loop camera. Look at that when the cars are going through the intersection. You can see right there towards the brick median and the right turn that there is some puddling of water. And this is a pretty not so great place to be when you've had a consistent area of heavy rain, because you can see it's already spitting up some water on tires. And that's just from what was like about 20 to 30 minutes of heavy rain. So we still got a little ways to go as far as rain is concerned. So this is one portion of town that you'll need to be careful on, especially that right turn where the truck is moving through. That can get puddled up pretty quickly as well, especially if we've got some consistent areas of heavy rain. So we got a new alert from the National Weather Service. Wind gusts recorded of 46 miles per hour from Tyler Pounds. So that is a little below the severe thunderstorm warning threshold, which is why there is no severe thunderstorm warning in Smith County. But still, if you're driving on the roadways in Smith County and you feel a gust of 46 miles per hour, you're going to notice your car shaking. And when you pair that with heavy rain, the possibility of hydroplaning is certainly there. We're passing still on the loop eastbound. We just passed the Brookshire's Distribution Center, and traffic on the roadways is going to be a bit of an issue, especially as we all know because of our morning commute. So here's another look at radar for you as you might be getting ready to head out the door and start off your day. We've still got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. This southern one until 8:15 this morning. This far northern one is until 8:30 this morning. Both of these storms have faint black lines through the polygon, and the reason why is because there's a tornado possible tag on them. That does not mean there's an actual tornado on the ground. It's just that we've got some broad areas of rotation that we've got to keep a close eye out for, because if it were to be a little bit tighter, if the couplet were to come together a little bit more, that would be where we see a tornado warning issued. So of course, we just have to keep a close eye out on these. These are both continuing to move off to the north and east at about 55 to 60 miles per hour. If you have to travel along I-30 this morning, please be careful and give yourself plenty of time, and probably want to reduce your speed as well, because there's likely a little bit of water that's caused some hydroplaning issues as you drive down the roads. Currently seeing the heaviest of rain right now as we speak, making its way through Gilmer. We just saw the polygons adjusted to show where the thunderstorm warnings have since moved through. So now these are again continuing to move off to the north and east as we continue to get these going here. Again, 55 to 60 miles per hour off to the north and east. As far as southern one, again, in place until about 8:15 this morning, and we just put a storm track on that. Those of you in Ore City, be prepared for some heavy rain to make it into your region over the next few minutes. East Mountain in the next 7 minutes, Lone Star in 10 minutes, Hugh Springs in about 15 minutes. From there, Avenger closer to 8:19 this morning, Bear Creek at about 8:30, Linden 8:36, Lodi. Again, places such as Linden, Bear Creek, Lodi, you're not under any type of warning at all right now. But we're putting the storm track in a little farther out into the future, and the reason why is because we've just got to make sure that you're prepared for the possibility of when this comes to you, that it could be warned and could be bringing you a punch of some heavy rain, gusty winds as well, and I'm sure you'll be able to hear some rumbles of thunder, maybe even at times a little bit of very tiny hail associated with that. We'll do another storm track on this warning a little bit to the farther to the north. This one is in place until 8:30 this morning. And this is moving towards the I-30 corridor just to the north of Cass County, and it is clipping northwestern portions of Cass County. So over the next little while, you got to be careful. If you're near Naples or just to the east of Naples, it'll move into DeKalb here over the next few minutes. Marietta by 8:13, Boston by 8:21, Maud by 8:28, and then again out of the polygon, but Hooks, Nash, if you know anyone towards Texarkana, let them know that could be in their area over the next little while. So we're about to go live on CBS this morning for another cut-in where we're going to give you more updates on radar as well as a look at what counties are under the tornado watch. So you can join us there, of course, once we finish with that. We're going to come right back here to our continuous coverage of this line of showers and thunderstorms as they continue to march through East Texas this morning. And we'll leave you with a lookout from our photojournalist Alan Casper as he continues to drive on the loop. He's getting close to Broadway where roadways are going to be wet. So please take it easy this morning as you're out and about. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us here at CBS 19. I'm meteorologist Chandler Jordan out of our CBS 19 Weather Center. We're keeping a close eye out on showers and thunderstorms as they continue to march through. We've got a tornado watch in place until 1 p.m. for all of the counties that you see in pink, and that still includes Tyler, Gilmer, as well as Longview into Henderson, Carthage through Center, San Augustine into Hemphill, Jefferson through Marshall, as well as the I-30 corridor in towards Mount Pleasant. Here's the latest look at CBS 19 radar as we speak this morning. We've got two active severe thunderstorm warnings to the north of I-20. A little farther down the line, just some clusters of showers and thunderstorms now pushing through Smith County, as well as into Jacksonville and in Palestine. These two warnings off to the north and east are set to expire at 8:30 and 8:45 this morning, and as they continue to move off to the north and east, you can expect some heavy rains or heavy rain, gusty winds. At times, you could maybe have a little bit of very tiny hail, but for the most part, you're definitely going to notice the wind with these thunderstorms as they pass through your area here over the next little while. A little farther down the line, very heavy rain making its way through Tyler as we speak right now, and we did have a report coming in that on Highway 110, tree fell down across the roadway, and it's causing for a few buses for Tyler High to run a little bit late this morning. So that's one of the reports that we've gotten in, and this is a look from our photojournalist's car, Alan Casper. It looks like he's driving on this Highway 69 this morning, and you can see that the roadways are very slick. He's he's driving carefully and headed towards an accident that was recorded a little bit farther to our east, and he's headed there right now to get some picture of that and check that out. But you can see on how he's driving on the roadways that, again, very heavy rain, even if you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, which is what the case is for Tyler. It's going to be a little bit of a dicey commute to start off your day, so please just be prepared for that. Again, give yourself a little bit of extra time to get to where you need to be. Otherwise, though, the latest look at CBS 19 radar shows that these are our two severe thunderstorm warnings. A little farther to the north, we've got a couplet or a trio of tornado warnings. These are in place until 8 o'clock, and this line in particular of thunderstorms where the tornado warnings have been issued has the history of producing some tornado damage, or what could be tornado damage. So something that we'll keep a close eye out for in our area. We do have these faint black lines within the polygons, which means that a tornado is possible. No tornado warning is in place right now as we speak, but of course we'll continue to keep you posted that over the next little while. This line of thunderstorms, as they continue to march off to the north and east, they'll make their way into Avenger by 8:11, Boston by 8:16, towards Linden at 8:27. From there, out of the warning box, still got to be careful though. Texarkana 8:48, Jefferson at 8:40. So regardless of where you are across the region today, please just be careful and just drive carefully. If you have to go anywhere, stay weather aware. But second half of the day is not going to be too bad. Few passing clouds, and temperatures are going to warm into the mid-70s. We've got continuous coverage over on our app, and you can join us there. So we're going to reset everything as we get ready to go back into more continuous coverage of this line of thunderstorms as it continues to march through the rest of the region. We're going to get a picture from Longview soon, and we'll be able to update you on road conditions and how things look there. But this is a look from our photojournalist Alan Casper's car as he's headed out to the scene of an accident. Right now you can see some heavy rain still continuing to pass through. Roadways are going to be slick this morning, so as you get ready to head out the door and start off your day, if you're headed out anytime soon, just know that the very heavy rain is going to continue to cause some issues, of course, and these can, even when you get this kind of rain and gusty winds, even though you're not under a warning, all it takes is a gust of wind to blow you a certain way, and from there, you could possibly hydroplane. So please just drive carefully as you get ready to head out the door. Plenty of distance in front of you for your car to be able to stop safely, because we all know that it can be a little more difficult to get to where you need to be as far as your destination's concerned because of the heavy rain on the roadways and the possibility of some hydroplaning. If you look towards the sides of the roads as well, you can see that water is ponded up slightly because of the rain that's already passed through. So you just got to drive carefully this morning. And I'd say just to be safe, give yourself plenty of extra time to get to where you need to be, because it could be a little dicey as far as your morning commute is concerned. So we'll go back to our look at the tornado watch that's currently in place until 1 p.m. And this is for all of the counties that you can see in pink. Now, I will say, we'll get to radar in just a moment. Once we see the main line move through, we're likely going to start to see some counties drop from the watch. We already had our western counties dropped. Places towards Dallas County, Tarrant County were under a tornado watch earlier this morning. Those are probably going to get dropped, or they were already dropped, I should say. And for those of you, as this line of thunderstorms moves to your east, like Tyler and Smith County, it could likely be dropped once we see the line get well to the east. But again, this is a tornado watch that's in place until 1 p.m., and that includes places such as Linden and Cass County, Jefferson, Marshall, Carthage, Center, San Augustine, Hemp Hill, Henderson, as well as Longview into Gilmer along the I-30 corridor as well. So here's a live look at CBS 19 radar. This is our line of thunderstorms as they continue to move off to the north and east. And we do have what appears to be 2 active warnings in place right now, and they're for areas that are north of I-20. A little farther up the line into Oklahoma and Arkansas, or more so Arkansas now by this point. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect, and there has been the history of a couple of tornado warnings as well. Luckily for us so far, no tornado warnings to talk about, but again, we've got to stay vigilant as this is still a possibility with the tornado watch being placed until 1 p.m. So this is the line of thunderstorms as they continue to move off to the north and east, and this is a future timeout, I guess you could call it, of when they could arrive into your area. Those of you in Hughes Springs, really any moment now. Boston by 8:13. Harrelton 8:22, into Linden by 8:34, Red Lick at 8:42, into Jefferson by 8:46, and from there Texarkana closer to the 9 o'clock hour. So again, this line of thunderstorms, we've got to keep a close eye out for them, as they do have these faint black lines moving through the polygon, which means that there's not a tornado warning, but a tornado is possible, because we do have some broader areas of rotation that we're going to have to keep a very close eye out for. Again, for both of these warnings as they're in place for the next little bit of time. 8:30 is the warning expiration time for this far northern warning. The one farther to the south, closer to Gilmer, is set to expire at about 8:15. And again, this long line of thunderstorms is going to continue to march farther and farther eastward. And the reason why we've got these tornado possible tags on them is that there are some broad areas of rotation associated with these areas. So again, we're going to have to keep a close eye out for them as they continue to march through, because of course, you know, at any time we could see a couplet tighten up, and from there that could be the possibility of what would be having a tornado warning issued pretty much at that point. So again, we'll keep a close eye out on these. You can see where we look out for the possibility of some areas of rotation are going to be where we see greens and reds pair up to each other. These are very, very broad. Typically, when you see a tornado warning, we've got it's almost like a ball moving across the screen. So that's what we'll keep a close eye out for. But again, these are some very, very broad areas of rotation that we're seeing. And these broad areas where, regardless of even if they're broad or not, as they arrive into your area, it's going to get very, very breezy, and it's also going to be associated with some very heavy rain. So that's going to be towards Lone Star, Cedar Springs right now, and this is one area that we're keeping a close eye out for. I'm joined by Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. He's been helping me out all morning with driving radar and keeping an eye out on things. But near Cedar Springs, this is the area of rotation we're going to keep a close eye out for. That appears to be, I think that's Highway 259, State Highway 155 as well, to the north of Ore City, and this is going to continue to move off to the north and east. I think it'll pass just to the north of Warlock. Those of you in Avenger should be prepared for at least some heavy rain and gusty winds to make it into your region over the next little while. We've got some reports coming in of what appears to be power lines that are down near Tyler Pounds Airport. So yeah, this storm does have we haven't even had a severe thunderstorm warning in Smith County, and it's still, as it passes through, very gusty winds are going to be associated with it, very heavy rain as well. So even, just gusts of wind that are anywhere from 30 to 50 miles per hour, although that's below warning threshold, still strong enough that even with a wet ground likely to see stuff that could be blown over. So we've got reports of that. We've got reports down of trees. I believe it's Highway 110 that's near Tyler High School that could cause some buses to be a little bit late this morning. Appears the warning that we had near Lone Star has been set to expire. We'll keep a close eye out on that to see if that's going to be reissued. Oh, that was just coming off. Never mind. That's my bad. Still severe thunderstorm warning in place until 8:15 this morning. And that includes for the possibility, we'll just keep a close eye out for these broad areas of rotation. If they were to tighten up, we could see the possibility of a tornado warning issued. So again, we'll keep a close eye out on that. That's going to be near Ore City, and yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of air kick in, a little bit of a notch inwards, and when we see that, that means air is being brought in, and from there we could see a little bit of a tightening of rotation. Near Ore City, this is going to be along Highway 259 and State Highway 155 near Cedar Springs to the north of Ore City. And as it continues to move off to the north and east, it'll pass close to Warlock. So I'd say if you're in Warlock, know anyone in Warlock, maybe Patman or Avinger as well, just know that you got to, not a tornado warning, but something that you got to keep a very close eye out for, and at any moment, be prepared to go to your safe spot and treat it as if it was a tornado warning, because that means there could actually be one that's being issued. We're putting a storm track out on this warning. These places, some of them not under a severe thunderstorm warning as we speak. It's a little farther down the line, but still some places that you got to be careful for, and that includes Avinger by 8:24 this morning, that's Harrelton at 8:24 this morning, Linden at 8:36, Jefferson at 8:44 this morning, Blivens, I believe that is, at 8:52, closer to 9:05 for McLeod. I'm sorry if I'm saying some of these town names incorrectly, but these places, again, a good portion of those, especially closer to like the 8:45 and 9 o'clock hour, not under a severe thunderstorm warning as we speak, but still there is the possibility that there could be a warning still in place as this marches through, because this line does have the history of producing some very gusty winds, heavy rain, and we've already gotten storm reports of trees being blown over, power outages across the region as well. It appears we've got another newer severe thunderstorm warning that's in place, a really slim polygon, and that's until 8:45. This one right here just to the south of Marietta. Continuing to move off to the north and east through portions of Cass County to the north and west of Linden. Again, very narrow, slim-looking polygon. And this is, again, moving off to the north and east. Got some pace to it, of course. It's, again, moving towards just to the north and west of Bloomberg. And as it moves away from Cass County a little farther down the line, looks like it's going to make its way into Texarkana. And we'll put a storm track on that, moving off to the north and east, close to 40 miles per hour near Cornett. Here, really, right now as we speak, into Cornett, also towards Cassetta, that appears to be at 8:20, Douglasville by 8:31. Appears to what looks like Elu at 8:58, and Texarkana at 9:07. So a good portion of those counties are out of our viewing area, but still, or Ilu, but if you've got any family or anything such as that in these areas, again, just let them know they've got this severe thunderstorm warning that's in place and continuing to move off to the north and east. A little farther down the line, no warnings in Smith County, still though some very heavy rain that's already got the history of producing some gusty winds that have blown over power lines. We're starting to see this move into Gregg County and Longview. We'll be able to have a live picture for you soon, as we've got a photojournalist a journalist headed out that way as we speak right now. Farther down the line, though, heavy rain, eastern Smith County. This is moving towards Henderson, Mount Enterprise, along I-20 as well. This morning, those of you in Jacksonville likely getting some very heavy rain, of course. Again, just even if you're not under a warning, you might just think, oh, this is just going to be some heavy rain and gusty winds. We still have reports of power outages, trees being blown over, and it could cause issues as far as accidents are concerned. If you're pairing slick roadways with gusty winds, all it takes is one subtle jerk of your steering wheel, and that could cause for, hydroplaning incident, unfortunately. So that's just something that you've got to be prepared for here over the next little while. So again, Full picture shows a lot of East Texas dealing with some rain right now as we speak. This continuing to move off to the north and east. We've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in place with the tornado possible tag, which just means that there isn't an actual tornado on the ground. It just means that if we were to see enough tightening of circulation within these thunderstorms, that there could be a tornado warning that then becomes issued. So we'll keep a very close eye out on these things as they continue to move off to the north and east. I think the good news for us, though, as well, for one, once you get to the west, or once you see these thunderstorms to your east, that means that you're likely soon going to be taken out of the tornado watch, and from there just drying out for the rest of the day. And then, of course, the second half of the day for all of East Texas is going to be gorgeous. So what was that, Mateo? Had wind speeds. Yeah. We're zooming on in on the velocities and seeing how gusty these winds could be at times as they pass through. Severe thunderstorm warning means that they're likely at least going to be upwards of 50 to or closer to 60, 70 miles per hour associated with the leading edge of this as it passes through. So we've got some, as we look at these areas as they continue to move through the region, remember, not an actual tornado warning associated with this. The reason why they have the tornado possible tag is because we look for a very tight ball-like, I guess you could call them ball-like, but what appears to look like a ball of reds and greens paired up against each other, because when you have that occur, that's typically where you see tornado warnings issued from those tight rotational couplets. So again, that's something we'll keep a close eye out for. None of these storms so far have done that. As you can see, they're just issuing the tornado possible tag, so we keep an extra close eye out on them for the possibility, because at any moment, especially with storm systems like this, when you've got a long line of showers and thunderstorms, at any moment we could get some subtle strengthening, and from there we'd be able to see what would be of the possibility of a tornado warning being issued. So again, this line of thunderstorms continuing to move off to the north and east at about anywhere from, I think it was, what was that, Brett, 40 to
37 to 40 miles.
About 40 miles per hour. So again, yeah, this line continuing to move off to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour, and it's again going to continue to bring some very heavy rain, gusty winds. It looks like there's not too much lightning being picked up on CBS 19 radar, which is of course some good news. But still, when you've got heavy rain like that, when you've got gusty winds as well, any subtle things that you're doing while driving on roadways could be pretty difficult to maneuver through and manage as you are maybe headed out the door to start off your day, running some errands, whatever you got to do this morning. So we'll keep a close eye out on these over the next few minutes and a little farther down the line. Even though there's no warnings in place right now near Gregg County as well as into Smith County, some very heavy rain in place, or in the area right now, and we actually have our own Nirali Jaiswal, who's out in Longview as we speak, and she's live there in Longview. Nirali, would you be able to tell me what you're seeing out there and how everything's been going?
Yeah, so it did rain hard for a few minutes, but it is calming down now. It's just a slight drizzle. The clouds are pretty heavy out here. The winds aren't that bad. They come and go in phases where it's a big gust of wind and then it'll calm down for a little bit. When we arrived here in downtown Longview, some of these trash cans had fallen down by the wind, it looks like. A lot of people from here have cleared out because of the rain that has been coming in. But other than that, it hasn't been crazy bad like we saw last week, but we'll give you more live updates as the weather progresses. Reporting live, Nirali Jaiswal, CBS 19.
Thank you, Nirali, for the live update. I did want to ask you, as you're out there, have you seen, cars maybe taking it a little easier on the roadways just because of, the heavy rain and gusty winds that we've seen so far?
Yeah, so you can see over here that the cars are driving pretty normal right now. We did see a lot of people kind of evacuate their works and leave, but the roads are pretty clear. There hasn't been any signs of flooding yet, but I would advise people to take precautions and just drive slowly because the roads may be really slick right now as well. But other than that, people have just been driving pretty normally. It is just a light drizzle right now, but if the rain does get heavier, I feel like people will probably slow down more. But other than that, Chandler, it seems like everyone's staying pretty safe out here.
That's good to hear, Nirali. You stay safe as well. Looks like, according to radar, you've got a little bit of heavier rain that's headed your way. So hopefully you and Jason will be able to stay dry out there this morning. And of course, thanks for helping us out and giving us an idea of at least how the conditions are out there. We'll take another look now at CBS 19 radar. We can show you on our computer system where Nirali just was in Longview. Some heavier rain starting to make its way into Longview. Those of you in White Oak, Spring Hill, East Mountain, these are some places that are already seeing this heavier rain, but in Longview, especially around the loop in Longview, we're going to see this activity pick up really over the next couple of minutes. We got a report in, 2,600 people are without power in East Texas. And just zooming on out so we can kind of get a picture or a broader picture, I should say, of the entire situation. Even if there aren't any severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place with this as it moves through, again, you just got to worry and be careful for the possibility of some heavy rain paired with gusty winds, which in that case, as we've already talked about, power outages. We've gotten reports of trees being down, power lines down out by the airport, Tyler High School, which is causing for some delayed buses this morning. So this is packing its own punch in the form of, power outages and anything like that. And we appear to have just gotten a new severe thunderstorm warning.
They extended, okay, so they have a new one for Cass, Gregg, Harrison, Marion, Morris till 9.
Okay. So, yeah, the warning that we just saw pop up on radar until 9 o'clock this morning. Again, it appears to have the history of some...
There's no history on it. It's done anything. I mean, there's been some non-thunderstorm wind strength damage thanks to just, I think, the weakening of the trees from last week. So the winds were pretty gusty all day yesterday. 46-mile-an-hour wind could easily knock down a power line, take down some branches.
Oh, yeah, especially when you pair it with rain if the roots get soaked.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not seeing 65-mile-an-hour wind. We're not seeing severe level winds out of this so far. We're just getting these little couplets that keep spinning, in the mid-levels of these mesocyclones, or these are the front end of these thunderstorms. So that's got everybody on heightened alert, but so far, so good.
Yeah, that's always some good news. We'll definitely... take that how we can get it, of course. Yeah, and as Brett had mentioned, we had a wind advisory in place yesterday. It was a pretty gusty day. It felt good outside. Pollen's really been picked up, and I'm sure that's just been blowing everywhere. I'm sure all of us have been dealing with some type of allergy issues. But, again, we're going to continue to keep a very close eye out on this as this continues to march off to the north and east here over the next, we've still got a few hours where we're going to have to stay vigilant and weather aware as this line moves through. But, places, we've already seen the tornado watch canceled in Rains County as well as Van Zant, Henderson, and Anderson counties. All of these places, the reason why is that they canceled the tornado watch is you can see that the heaviest of activity has moved well to the east. So when you just continue to see these very light rains of light rain showers, this is continuing to move off to the north and east. Our photojournalist Alan Casper, he said he just saw an accident. It looks like you can see that on the opposite side of the street, that it's causing some type of backup. But otherwise, so if you look closely at the roadways, still got to be careful as you drive on the roads this morning. Again, heavy rain, we've got some gusty winds associated with this, and that's going to, even the slightest of wind gusts could cause, if you jerk your wheel just slightly from there. This is Highway 69 north near 429, and it looks like Alan's going to probably try and get turned around and get over there and see, hopefully everyone's okay in that accident. But yeah, all it takes is a subtle jerk of the wheel when you've got roads that are these wet, paired with a wind gust that knocks your car, and that's all it can take for a subtle hydroplane. So Yeah, just please be careful this morning. Please just give yourself plenty of time to where you need to be as you get ready to head out the door and start off your day. And near Kilgore, we do have if we could get back to our Max computer really quickly, we do have velocity appears to be about 45 miles per hour. So again, that's a little below the threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning, but still that's gusty enough that you could knock over a power line or a tree, especially as Brett had mentioned, when you've got roads that are so soaked, or grounds that are so soaked, I should say, from all of the rainfall. And you can see some very heavy rain making its way into Kilgore right now as we speak, as well as towards Longview this morning. So if we could really quickly, Brett, zoom out before we go and take a break before this next cut in that's coming in at 8:25. Again, we're just going to keep a very close eye out on all of these showers and thunderstorms as they continue to march off to the north and east. We do have a tornado watch in place until 1 p.m. Luckily, and hopefully it stays this way, no tornado warnings yet. But again, something that we've just got to stay weather aware for over the next few hours as this continues, again, to march off to the north and east. Remember, we are here in a couple of minutes going to be back live on CBS This Morning. We've got a cut-in that we do on television there. But once that's finished, we're going to be right back here with more continuous coverage on this line of thunderstorms as it moves through. Of course, thanks for sticking with us this morning, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with more updates, and we'll continue to talk you through this line of thunderstorms as it moves through the region. Good morning, everyone, from the CBS 19 Weather Center. This is meteorologist Chandler Jordan, and as always, thanks for sticking with us here at CBS 19. Still got a tornado watch in place until 1 p.m. for all of the counties that you see in pink, and this still includes places such as Longview into Jefferson, Marshall through Linden, in Cass County into Carthage, Center, San Augustine, as well as Hemphill. The good news is that once this line gets to your east, all the places to the west and behind this line of thunderstorms, we're going to see the watch be canceled early, which is, of course, some fantastic news. And although we haven't seen any tornado warnings yet in our viewing area, not only let's hope that it stays that way, we still got to stay vigilant here for the next few hours just to make sure that we're being extra careful as we continue to watch this line of thunderstorms move from west to east. Honestly, those of you in Smith County and in Tyler, once this line exits the area over the next 15 to 20 minutes, maybe closer to 30 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Smith County and Tyler let go from the warning, as well as just to the north, Wood County as well could get let go early. And then from there, we'll keep an eye out for other places farther to the north once these line of thunderstorms continue to move farther and farther off to the east. So we've got currently, as we speak, some active severe thunderstorm warnings in place to the north of I-20 this morning, and that includes towards Jefferson as well as to the north of Jefferson. These are going to continue to move off towards Texarkana and out of our viewing area here over the next 45 minutes to an hour. So, of course, that's some fantastic news. We're going to continue to see these exit and slowly weaken as well. And you'll notice that we had a warning that was in place that's going to be allowed to expire coming up here in about 15 minutes. So we'll just keep a close eye out on that just to be safe. But again, these are moving off to the east, northeast at about 40 miles per hour towards Jefferson, Atlanta by around 8:40 this morning. Bloomberg and Rodessa closer to 8:50 and 8:55. From there, well into Louisiana and Arkansas. So of course, some good news there. A little farther down the line, we do have some heavier rain that's starting to make its way into places such as Gregg County and in Longview, and our own Nirali Jayswal is in Longview right now where the rain's picked up. Nirali, what are you seeing out there?
Yes, Chandler, the rain has picked up a lot. The clouds, as you can see, it's gotten darker too. The clouds are pretty heavy. The rain has picked up. Before we got here, these trash cans right here, they already fell down because of the winds. The winds have picked up as well. There hasn't been any flooding, major flooding yet, but the roads look to be really slick, so I would just advise people to be really careful when driving. The power still seems to be on. There hasn't been any power outages in the area we are in downtown Longview, but we will give you live updates as the weather continues. And I'm reporting live from downtown Longview, Nirali Jayswal, CBS 19. Chandler, back to you.
Thank you, and we're going to leave you with this last picture before we go, but remember, we'll continue streaming on our platforms, and this appears to be an accident that our photojournalist Alan Casper has seen, and he's stopped here and keeping an eye out on things, and this is our continuing coverage of this line of showers and thunderstorms as they continue to march. I'm not exactly 100% sure where Alan is. I believe it's in Smith County near Highway 69. Is that correct? Highway 69 is correct, and it's in Smith County, east and southeast of Tyler, where there appears to be some type of accident on the roadways. And really, as we continue to keep a close eye out on this line of thunderstorms as they continue to march farther and farther to the north or off to the north and east, we do have some places that, were under a tornado watch that have since been canceled. We'll actually go back to that really quickly. Here's the tornado watch, and this is what it looks like as of now, and this is in place until 1 p.m. this afternoon. And that does include Wood County, Smith County, places such as Gilmer and Upshur County, Camp County along I-30, into Longview, Henderson, through Jefferson, Marshall, Linden, Carthage, Center, San Augustine, as well as Hemphill. So again, as this passes through, it looks like I think we're going to get close to the point to where over the next little while, we'll be able to see some tornado watches being dropped. And I think the first eligible candidates are going to be Wood County. From there, probably Smith County would be next. And honestly, even from there, our counties along I-30, close to Franklin, Titus, and Camp counties, I think y'all are going to be next as far as the possibility of getting everything taken care of. Before we leave, we do want to go through the radar loops and just kind of get you updated on each of these warnings that we have right now. We've got 2 in place, one set until 8:45, one until 9 o'clock. As far as the National Weather Service chat is concerned, these warnings are continuing for now. We don't have any indication as far as if they're going to be allowed to continue past 8:45 and 9 o'clock. Of course, if they do, we'll keep you posted on social media. But otherwise, though, the main thing that we're going to be concerned with this are occasional gusts of wind that are close to 60 miles per hour. Otherwise, when you've got these brown, black lines through the polygons, that just means that it's tornado possible. And the reason why is that there are couplets of velocity that are paired close enough together that there is the possibility that we could see a brief tornado from this. But again, we just got to keep a close eye out on this. There's not actually a tornado that's on the ground, and let's hope that we stay tornado warning free all throughout the day today. So we'll continue to move these off to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour is about how fast they're moving. Now, a lot of these counties that I'm about to show you are out of the polygon, but again, this is going to be headed your way. If you've got family in Linden or towards Atlanta and Cass County, you got to be careful there. Jefferson as well. And then a little farther to the east across the border in Rodessa, Fuke, Ida, Bloomberg, these places, just got to be careful for the next 30 to 45 minutes as this line of thunderstorms continues to march your way. Otherwise, we'll zoom out, move a little farther down the line that is starting to exit Smith County, and we could see Wood and Smith counties taken away from the tornado watch, and through Gregg County, some very heavy rain making its way through there. Now our Nirali Jaiswal is still out there, and she's going to continue to stay safe where she is and keeping an eye out on the heavy rain. Again, this is going to continue to move off to the north and east, and just to kind of get an idea of when we could see this heaviest of rain make it into some of these other communities. We'll go ahead and put another storm track on that. This is again moving off to the east northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So we'll get a more northeasterly and storm track to show that places such as Henderson will likely get some rain at about 8:41, Cushing 8:50, closer to Marshall by 9 o'clock, Pine Hill by 9:08, Dotson closer to 9:20, and from there Scottsville at about 9:30. So we're going to continue to keep a very, very, very close eye out on things here in the CBS 19 Weather Center. Good news, though, if you are to the west of this very heavy line or heavy rain and area of thunderstorms, or where you see the severe thunderstorm warnings, once you're to the west or the left of them, you're going to be all good for the rest of the day. Still going to have some rain, of course, that sticks around. But as far as tornadoes are concerned, I think your threat will just pretty much go as close to zero as it possibly can. And really for all of East Texas as we head into the second half of the day today, it's going to be gorgeous. Still a stormy morning, but by this afternoon, things are going to clear on out enough to where we're going to be left with a pretty great second half of the day. It's going to be breezy, but still, we'll warm on up because we're going to get plenty of clearing to do so. We'll see our high temperature top out in the mid-70s. From there, gorgeous day for Thursday, gorgeous day as well for Friday. Friday night into Saturday, you got a weak wave that passes through, might have a little bit of light rain with it, mostly probably going to stay dry though. That sets us up for a gorgeous day on Saturday, mid and upper 70s, pool weather, I'd call it, for Sunday, low 80s, a mostly sunny sky, and then our next best chance of rain starts to arrive into the region by Monday evening into Monday night, and it'll carry over into Tuesday morning. So of course, we're going to continue to keep a close eye out on things in the CBS 19 Weather Center, and we want to thank you for sticking with us this morning for our continuous coverage. We've got another cut-in on CBS this morning coming up at about 8:55, so if you want to join us there, of course, you can. If we need to get back on for continuous coverage, we will, and of course, if there's a tornado warning, we'll be the first to let you know on the air at CBS 19 and all of our streaming platforms. For myself, Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony, as well as our team that's out in the field right now, thanks for watching our continuous coverage of this morning's storms, and please be safe throughout the next few hours.